In a world where legends rise and fall with every punch, where the roar of the crowd fades, but the stories live on. This is where those stories are told. This is Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. From the blood, the sweat, and the glory, to the controversies, comebacks, and knockouts, we go behind the ring, no fluff, no hype, and definitely no BS. Just the truth behind the fight game. And we've been doing it for over 2 decades. A podcast pioneer, now a Hall of Famer.
Great. What's that ego gonna be like?
And next, the comeback kid.
Wait, isn't he like 90 or something?
Shut up, he'll hear you. The reigning, defending, undisputed, heavyweight champion of boxing broadcasting. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. And it's on now.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're watching, whenever you're listening. I hope you're doing okay today. Today's show is being brought to us in part by my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold. That's right. I'm still hawking the book for anybody that's still watching the show for a long time, you know. But get yourself a copy. Maybe if I sell another couple of thousand, I'll stop bugging you, you know. Just go to Amazon.com. Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet. And today's show is also being brought to us in part by the new Billy C Roundtable series. It's going to be starting next week. Right here on the 15th, July 15th, Wednesday, July 15th, starts at 5 p.m. Eastern and goes to whenever. Busy show today. I'm going to get you caught up on all the latest boxing news and rumors. You guys all heard of former world champion Robert the Ghost Guerrero, right? Well, scheduled to join us a little bit later is his undefeated hot prospect nephew, Victor Guerrero. Look forward to chatting with him. I have an interesting email we'll be talking about and much more. But first, let's talk about the fights that took place over the weekend. It was an interesting fight, the Abdullah Mason championship fight. I don't know if you saw it, but it was an interesting fight because Albert Bell was kind of winning the fight. He did a lot better than I predicted he would. But towards the last couple of rounds, Mason took over. I don't know what he was waiting for. It seemed like he had an adrenaline rush or something because his energy level was at an all-time high, and he was fighting aggressively. You know, it's just something I don't understand with a lot of fighters. Why they wait to be aggressive in the ring. I mean, there's only 12 in a championship fight. There's only 12 rounds. The truth of the matter is even if you're fighting a 4-round fight, there's only 4 rounds. There's only 6 rounds in a 6-round fight. You get it, right? So the point is what are you waiting for? You have to assume your opponent is in good physical condition. So it's not like you're waiting for him to tire. The fight was stopped. It was a stoppage, and it was kind of there's been some controversy. 45 seconds of the final round. Was Bell in trouble? Yeah, he was. Is the referee really to blame for stopping a fight? Not when you're supposed to, as a referee, you're taught, stop the fight too soon versus stopping the fight too late. The argument here, Mark Nelson, I've seen Mark Nelson referee many fights, and I've seen him, and I'll be honest, I've seen him referee do a great job refereeing it, and I've seen him stink up the ring as a referee. But the truth of the matter is he's consistently good. Do I fault him like a lot of other people are? Because the thought process here was Albert Bell was putting on a great performance. Some say he was winning the fight or very close. A knockdown would have probably swayed the scorecards for Mason Abdullah Mason's way anyway. He was pouring on putting his foot to the floor of the gas pedal towards the second half of the fight. But I think the main argument was, hey, why not let Bell try to finish the fight on his feet? He said, let me go out on my shield. But let's be real. We hear and fighters complain after their fight, or their loved ones complain about their condition years after they retire. And stoppages like this by Mark Nelson hopefully will prevent some injuries coming on down the road. I can't argue with the stoppage. I know it came at a rough time. But I can't argue with it. It clearly looked, in my opinion, that Abdullah Mason had taken over this fight. Give a shout out to my man, the What's Next kid. He's in Travis is in the house. John, my girl, my Dahlia Duran is in the house in the chat room too. So give a shout out to everyone there. The other fight was Bruce Shushu Carrington. He successfully defended a title when he beat previously unbeaten Rene Palacios in their fight. It went the distance: 118, 110, 117, 111, 116, 112, all in favor of Carrington, who improves to 18-0 with 10 knockouts. Palacios drops the first fight in his career. He's now 19-1. With a draw and 10 knockouts. Some news that we'll talk about here. It was ordered by the WBA that Raleigh Romero is being defending his world title against Teofimo Lopez on August 22nd. I was jumping the gun a little for the WBO's welterweight order. We'll get to in a second, but Raleigh Romero defending his belt against Teofimo Lopez August 22nd. It's going to be taking place in Las Vegas. I like the fight. A lot of people underestimate Raleigh Romero. But Teofimo Lopez needs to put on a good performance, and Ramiro needs to show that, he can beat a top-notch guy like Teofimo Lopez. I'm expecting a really good fight. I'm looking forward to this one, August 22nd. The other one, the WBO has ordered that Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis fight. If you recall, Haney is the belt holder. He won that last November against Brian Norman Jr. So all I could say is, who am I rooting for? Do I have to say? I mean, I'll be rooting for Keyshawn Davis, 100%, 100%. I'll be rooting for Keyshawn in that one. Devin Haney is, in my opinion, the most boring fighter out there. So I just, listen, you can make an argument about his skill set and all of that. But boxing, listen, no matter how you slice it, boxing is entertainment. Travis, the What Next kid, says Keyshawn Davis by a knockout is his prediction. You got to give Haney credit. He can move around the ring. I mean, my man Ryan definitely battered him around, but we'll see. And the coach is back. And where you been, coach? I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you in the chat room. Okay, you knew I wasn't going to do a show without talking about Zuffa, right? Well, do I have to keep telling you about the same thing over and over about why I think that they're going to take over boxing. Well, they added another entertaining fighter to their into their group, into their what do you want to say, stable of fighters. Jason Maloney, a Brit, he's a good fighter. So another young fighter joining up with Zuffa. Um, Today's title of the show, one of my main things I wanted to talk about, is Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is, we all know about his financial stuff, right? And, I personally, I could care less about Floyd Mayweather, even when he was, the top guy in boxing. But, he claims he's still the face of boxing. My opinion about that statement from Floyd is, I guess, in addition to being broke, he's also delusional, because he's definitely not the face of boxing. I mean, right now, his face may be in the boxing's eye, and that's only because of all his financial problems, and all his fights are being canceled because of the lawsuits and because of whatever other reasons. So he's trying to pay off all of this debt, including the IRS. But let's be real, the face of boxing. It got me thinking, who's the face of boxing? Floyd Mayweather Jr. is definitely not the face of boxing. Is there a face to boxing? I mean, I'd like to say Terrence Crawford, even though he's retired, and I do believe he's going to stay retired. But a lot of people still talk about Terrence Crawford, and he's talking a lot, given his thoughts. People are asking his opinions on fighters and outcomes of fights. Canelo, you have to still talk about Canelo. I know he hasn't fought in a while, but Usyk, Shakur Stevenson. How about David Benavidez? Inoue. You could make an argument that Bam Rodriguez, my man, the what next kid is Travis is saying that Boots Ennis. I don't know, man. I don't know if he's the face of boxing. I know you like him, but and he definitely looked good in his last fight. But there's not many other. Yeah, I tell you, if he's going for other champions or top contenders, real top contenders in the junior middleweight division, we'll see. We'll see how he pans out. But when you think about the face of boxing, is it really a boxer? I mean, you could say Turki Al-Ashi could be considered the face of boxing today. Dana White, maybe. I mean, how about a network? How about DAZN? Could you say DAZN is the face of boxing? It just got me thinking. What is the face of boxing? To me, there's no one face to boxing. Yes, you have your popular fighters, the fighters that have the biggest fan bases or the most followers in today's world. But collectively, I think that if boxing took the route that I hope it does, where challenging fights, the tough fights, the best fighters fight each other, and not pound on their chest and tell us all how great they are through social media, but actually proving it in the ring. And this is one of the reasons why I feel DAZN is going to do so well. But combined, if these fights were always good, consistently good, wouldn't the sport of boxing itself be its own face? Because if boxing itself, good quality fights, could be the face of boxing, if that happened, if that could happen, then you may see boxing, professional boxing, back in mainstream sports media. It's something that we all see because we're boxing fans. My man Cello is in the house. Glad to see him. And congrats to him. He's racking up the Hall of Fame rings. Rochester Hall of Fame this year. Atlantic City coming up, I just saw. Congratulations to my man Cello. But Floyd, being as delusional as he is, still claiming that he's relevant in boxing. And I don't know who is constantly putting social media posts about him being, uh, pound for pound, the best ever, the GOAT, all these crazy things. I just, it's funny to me, we know he did it when he was active and it was a form of promotion, but Floyd Mayweather never had a problem with alcohol or drugs or anything. I mean, obviously he had a money spending problem, and rumor has it he likes to visit the casinos and he does not do well. But he didn't have a drug habit and all these things like some of these other fighters do. And he was very successful during his career, promotional wise and financially. But all good things come to an end. You know, Fighters, their youth goes away, and they need to, change their style of living when that revenue stream stops. And it's not just boxers; a lot of athletes do it. And by doing so, you kind of get out of the limelight. Maybe in other sports like football or baseball, the superstars go to announcing or what have you, so maybe fans still get to see them. But boxing, it's usually not that. They go do whatever they set out to do. Look at my man Cello. He's a very successful businessman in the real estate business. After his boxing career, and there's so many others. Larry Holmes comes to mind as being one of the most successful business guys from boxing, but you don't see his picture everywhere. With Floyd Mayweather, this guy, the other thing he can't do, he can't stop spending money, he can't stay out of the casinos, and he can't stand the fact that he's not the topic of conversation anymore. He just can't stand it. So he's trying to say that he's still the face. Nah, he's not. To me, there's many faces, but he's definitely not. He's definitely not. So that's my thought, and I think it's kind of comical. My man Dave just popped in. He says he's a punk, fought everybody out of their prime. I'll dance with him right now. Oh, Dave must have a couple of beers in him. But the funny thing is that I had this exact conversation with somebody on social media the other day, and the truth of the matter is that, look, we can only be, and this is the truth, and people have heard me talk about. I never was a Mayweather fan. As a matter of fact, I was criticized for not being a Mayweather fan. But the truth of the matter is let's give credit what credit's due. As a fighter during his era, he fought and was very successful and was at the top of the game. You could make you could make a very successful argument that he was the best fighter of his era. Do I think so? No, I lean more towards Manny Pacquiao, and I agree with my man Dave in the chat room that Floyd calculated his fights, and that's one of the hangups I have against Floyd. I personally don't think that we ever got to see the best Floyd Mayweather Jr. Because of his cautiousness. The thing that bothers me even more is that the fan base, his fan base, is so loyal to him that they don't see that they're the ones that are getting screwed the most from him. When you think of certain fighters, and you mention a name, you think of fights. You mention Ali or Frazier, you think, oh, those three fights were great. You think of Mike Tyson, you could think of any of his fights, except the ones he lost, that were exciting and stuff. When you mention Floyd Mayweather, I mean, what fight comes to mind? I mean, think about it. And the whole 50-0 thing, that's a complete fabrication. The truth of the matter is, yes, he's 50-0. He's 50-0. But a lot of fighters got to 50-0. Harry Greb was 52-0 in like less than 2 years. Floyd was 50-0 in 20 years of boxing. So and it only meant something for the heavyweights because a heavyweight has never reached 50-0. That's the whole thing. A heavyweight has never reached 50-0. It has nothing to do with retiring at 50-0. But once again, Floyd was able to market that and make his sheep that follow him around believe that was so good. Listen, I was going to talk about this a little bit later because you know what? I'm going to bring it up now because it's a good segue. It really is. I got a really good email from my man Chase. And he says to me, "Hey, Billy C, do you consider Lennox Lewis to be the last of the great heavyweights?" I love the question. I love the question. And I'll say this, there's no doubt that Lennox Lewis is a great fighter and was an all-time great. And you got to put him in the conversation when you talk about great heavyweights, especially all-time greats. To me, not only would I say that about Lennox Lewis, but I would also say that Lennox Lewis has changed the heavyweight, the complexion of the heavyweight division. Prior to him, heavyweights, look at Mike Tyson, coming in at 218, 220, 216. Jack Johnson was a monster, 201. Rocky Marciano, I don't think he ever fought more than 189 pounds. So what Lennox Lewis did is he brought in this 6'4", 243 chiseled muscle punching machine. And subsequently, we've had, a lot of big guys, physically, humanity, we've gotten bigger. So I think when you start to say great heavyweights, because we all look at the previous generation, I'll look at my generation when I was a kid and I'll say, nobody was better, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, those guys, Tommy Hearns, of course, that era and before, the Sugar Ray Robinsons and all of those. And when you look at the heavyweights, the heavyweight greats. I mean, of course, Ali and Marciano, Dempsey, Holyfield, Jack Johnson, Klitschko. You got to mention Larry Holmes, Sam Langford, my man Sonny Liston, Joe Frazier, of course, and Ali and George Foreman. More modern, I think great a fighter, a great fighter is a fighter who fought everyone that was available to them during their era. You really can't compare Jack Dempsey's era. I'm getting ahead of myself because next week we're going to be talking exactly about this, but it's hard to. I think Lennox Lewis was a great fighter. To say he was the last of the great ones, I mean, fans today think Usyk is great. They think Tyson Fury is great. They think, Anthony Joshua is great. So those are the people that are going to be saying, "Oh, they don't make them like Usyk anymore." When they're older and stuff. So I think it's a really tough question. And I myself I've always said, the guys of yesteryear. I mean, anybody that knows me, that's talked to me about boxing, it's one of my platforms, but the truth of the matter is, we'll be bringing up some topics next week of why that's a really tough thing to say and do, especially today. But I want to point something out. We're talking about great heavyweights. Great question, by the way, Chase. Thank you. I don't know if I answered it for you, but but I had fun doing it. But talk about heavyweights. I can't help it. This whole Mayweather thing, right, and the whole 50-0 and stuff. Consider this, and most of you guys. Now I know Coach is going to have heard of him. Yeah, my man Cello saying Jimmy Wilder was 93-0 before his first loss. No, I know, and Julio Cesar Chavez was at least 80. He had at least 80 fights. But check this guy out. And I know Coach has heard of him, but I don't know how many others that are, in the chat room now or listening whenever. How about young Stribling? All right. Young Stribling had a career record of 256 wins, 16 losses, and 18 draws. Now, when he died, he was considered a heavy. Oh, did I mention that he only fought from 1921 through 1933? All right. Not very long. And when he died, he was 28. Okay. And he died in a motorcycle accident. He was still fighting. But he started at flyweight. I'm only bringing him up because here's a guy that nobody ever talks about. We talk about Manny and everything. Now, remember, it was only 8 weight classes when he fought, and he fought in an era when they were fighting every week. He fought a couple of times a week sometimes. So it was a different era. But for a fighter to say I'm 50-0, or a fighter to say I'm undefeated at 30-0 and bragging and pounding their chest, you look at a guy like young Stribling, and 256 wins. Somebody say, "Well, he had 16 losses." Who cares? Who cares about the? Oh, well, he had 18 draws. Who cares? 256 wins. I mean, that's more than 10 guys could have. It's amazing to me. And then you circle back to somebody like no, I think you're I don't think, did Lopez retire at 51-0? I don't know if he was 51-0. I thought he had lost. I thought he lost a fight, but maybe you're right. Maybe it was a draw. Yeah. So what are they saying? So if he did 51-0, I do remember something along that. But yeah, no, Dave, it was a different era. But anyway, I just find it amazing that he fought that many times. But in any event, great question, and I really enjoyed answering that one. Speaking of heavyweights, you guys know that Usyk gave up his titles, right? So we know that the WBO champion is Daniel Dubois, right? Because he beat Fabio Wardley, who was the champion. He was the interim champion. Then he got awarded the champion when Usyk gave up that belt first. Then he gave up the WBC belt. So now, who is it? Is it KBL now? Maybe might be the champion, or they're fighting. They're fighting Sanchez and somebody for their belt. I don't know, but anyway, what I'm getting at is the little known heavyweight champion named Murat Gassiov. Yes, you recall him. He was a cruiserweight guy. He won the WBA regular world heavyweight title. And I'm only saying this because I find it humorous that, we have so many different WBA world heavyweight champions. But Murat Gaziov is the WBA's regular world heavyweight champion. If you recall, he beat Kubrat Pulev for the title. And he was supposed to fight Tony Yoka this weekend, I believe. This weekend in Russia. And Yoka backed out of it beginning of the week. And the truth of the matter is that they found a substitute for him. It's still going to be a world title fight. The WBA is approving it. And he's fighting Peter Kadyrov. 23 wins, 1 loss. So, hey, we'll see what happens with the regular world champion. We got some all-time great listings in here. Let's see. I'm going to put this one on the screen because he's got it nice and labeled. Muhammad Ali, number 1. Joe Louis, 2, 3. Larry Holmes. Yeah, that's a decent list. You got to put Vladimir Klitschko. You can make the argument till his neck almost got his head almost got knocked off by AJ. I swear, I thought his head was going to end up in the third row. But you can make an argument that up until his loss, he won every round of every fight that he had. As far as the list, Muhammad Ali number one, Joe Louis number two. Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that. I mean, personally, I have some other fighters in there. Not Muhammad Ali number one heavyweight. Yeah, I guess who would you put? Who would you put in front of him? Uh, I don't know. I don't know. But thanks for that. I appreciate that little top 10 all time great. You got Joe Frazier. See, Dempsey. Jack Johnson needs to, Lennox Lewis. It's hard to argue with that top 10. You can make I mean, I don't know about number 4. Larry Holmes is there, but is he number 3? I mean, I don't know. It's a good list, though. I will tell you that. But in any event, that's what we like to do on this show, just off the cuff. Now, of course, Coach has his top 10 all time. This obviously is not just heavyweights, but he's got Sugar Ray Robinson. Me too. He's number 1. Hank Armstrong. A lot of people forget about him. Willie Pep. That's shocking, Coach. Ali number 4. Joe Louis number 5. Harry Greb. Yeah, I have him up a little higher. Roberto Duran. Benny Leonard. Good pick. Good pick. Another guy that I love your number 10 pick, Mickey Walker. That's good. That's good. But anyway, so listen, next week we're doing our first roundtable. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. And, you guys know that we're going to have the historical film guy. He just put another documentary out. Just search him on YouTube, Carl Weingarten. Check it out. He's going to be one of the guests, as well as historian Mike Silver, author and historian Mark Allen Baker, and Jack Hirsch. So we'll be talking about that. You're not going to want to miss that one. That's for sure. Well, I told you guys we had a young, hot, undefeated junior middleweight prospect, and he's joining us right now, Victor Guerrero.
How's it going?
What's up, my man?
How's it going? I appreciate you having me on the podcast. Appreciate it.
No problem. Hey, if you can crank up your volume a little bit,
of
that
course.
would be good. I'm going to ask you the question you probably get asked all the time, but when did you start boxing? I couldn't find an amateur career.
I honestly, I've been in the gym since I was a little kid and running around and stuff, but I started taking it serious when I was 14. I didn't have a big amateur background, to be honest. I don't under 30 fights and stuff. Most of my fights that I went to, the opponents didn't show up, because of the name and stuff, and just, it was frustrating. So ended up turning pro pretty early and stuff, and just, been building my experience from there.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get to that. It looks like you're gonna have a busy 26. This is gonna be your year, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Do you think that it's harder for you or easier for you to be the Ghost's nephew?
I'd say a little bit of both. It comes with its pressure and stuff, and I got some big shoes to fill up. But I want to rewrite my own story. Fill my own shoes. Me and my uncle. He did great things. And it's my turn to do great things in the sport of boxing. And like you said, 2026, a lot of people are gonna know who I am. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's funny. I knew. I figured you would say that because a lot of people say, "Oh, let me." From the fighter's point of view, I would think it's harder when a relative, in your case, nephew, but a son or something, and they're following. And I think it brings additional pressure on the fighters, and it's just something that you gotta be good at blocking out, and like you said, make your own name, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. It's gonna come with hate and with love too, So I just roll with the punches and just, go out there and perform, put the work in the gym and just keep my head down, stay humble and, when it comes to fight night, the people are gonna see the results.
Yeah, try and get your volume. You're cracking up on your volume. Um, you're if no one ever saw you before, and I got to be honest, I've never seen you fight live. Describe your style.
Very, very technical, long. I like to use my distance. I'm 6'3", fighting at 154, so um, that's what we're working on right now is just using my long jab and my distance. And I don't like to waste any punches, so like I said, I'm very technical when it comes into the ring.
So your first five fights, they all came by knockout, and then your sixth fight, you went the distance. How did that make you feel? I'm sure people wonder, you definitely get in the groove of knocking people out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
did you feel like you didn't do your job right or something?
And at first, yeah, obviously any fighter wants to get the knockout, so Uh, I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but coming off, going the full distance, it gave me a little more experience, and I got the rounds in that I need, to build off that. And we corrected the mistakes that we needed to be corrected, and everything's been pretty good since then. So, um, it's even if you go to distance, it's all good experience at the end of the day, and that's what you need in the sport.
No, 100%, 100%. My point wasn't. It was just like I know you get into a routine. You're knocking
Yeah,
everybody out, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, this guy's still standing. We're going. What's these things called scorecards? But
exactly.
you,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so 2026, my man, looks like you're going to be a busy guy. You've already fought three times and won, of course, all three fights. You got two more scheduled already. Um, are you? Are we going to see even more of you?
Oh, 100%, 100%. August 29th is the next fight. We're in camp now, fully locked and loaded for it. And the next one's December 10th after that one. So yeah, like I said, like you said, it's gonna be a busy year for me and you're gonna be hearing a lot more from me. So stick around and check out the updates and stuff. And I'm excited for this year.
So the junior middleweight, super welterweight, whatever you want to call it, is pretty hot right now. If everything worked the way you envision it, how do you see yourself fitting into that division in terms of obviously you're a hot prospect now, and then that next step is to become a contender, and then of course get in the mix. How do you see that going?
Everything's right now is going on schedule. I think by next year, end of next year, I think we're gonna hit call out some big names. Get into that, like you said, the contender stages and stuff. You know, Obviously the big names. Boots, Xander Zayas, the Fondoras, the Virgil Ortizes. Those top guys. Obviously, down the road, future matchups. And I'm keeping my eye very close to those fights and stuff. And I'm excited. I think I can give Fundora some problems, at being close to his height. I'm 6'3", he's, I don't know, but 6'6" or something, 6'5". So, um, like I said, we'll see, and then everything right now is going to plan. And we got a busy year this year.
The one thing you mentioned Fendora, what I see with him, and maybe it's something that can help you with your game. Obviously you see it too, but he's in the last several fights, he's really learned to use his height and reach to his advantage, and it makes it very tough on the other fighters. Is that something that you work on, or is that part of your game? I mean, it's got to be something. What you got to be able to maximize learning the
Yeah.
distance, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah, of course. We try to work inside and outside. We don't want to be a one-dimensional fighter. Because that's how you get picked off by the top guys in the division. So, if it needs to be a brawl, I can brawl. If it needs to go, I can find the outside. I can find on the outside too. So, I'm very confident in my abilities. My reach, my footwork. my hand speed and power. So, within the next year, like I said, next year, I think we're gonna, a lot of people are gonna see what I'm capable of.
Um, I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't know if you'd want to answer it or not, but I'm just curious. Young fighter on his way up, like yourself. Um, what's your thoughts on Zuffa boxing?
I mean, they're doing their thing right now. They signed a lot of talent. It shows that they have money to throw around, but there's still an upcoming promotion. I'm not too fond of it, really. The whole system and being so blank and having no can't customize your trunks and stuff. And I'm a old school fighter. I like to be a little flashy when it comes to being in the ring. So look good, feel good, fight good. So I'm not really too opposed to it. I mean, I do watch the fights here and there, but I know they're still coming up, and there's still a new promotion. So that's where I
Yeah.
stand.
I got a question for you from somebody in the chat room, my man Coach. I just put it up on the screen. Any sparring with Guerrero Jr.?
My little cousin. Yeah, yeah. No, no, he fights a little lighter than me. We haven't gotten the chance to spar with my little cousin, but no, big shout out to my little cousin Robert Jr. He's doing his thing, so he should be having a fight pretty soon. So just keep a lookout for that.
We got another question I'll ask you from somebody in the chat room. This is Love It. She's saying it's a novice question. How much training is watching opponents' film?
Very often, I leave that up to my coach, Coach Sid. We've been working together for about, I'd say, going on 8 months. And he's been great. He's transitioning me to fully use my abilities. My distance and stuff, snapping my jab more. And no, he usually the one that dissects the opponent, and we go in training with the game plan. So come fight night, the results are gonna show.
Well, listen, Vic, I appreciate you coming on, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on you. And I'll tell you, like I say to a lot of young fighters, I just lost you. Uh, Oh, there you are.
Sorry, sorry.
I was I figured you were
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
all
No,
right,
my bad.
goodbye. Whoa, hey, slow it down. No, but like I say to a lot of young fighters when they come on in the beginning of their career, when after you become famous and you're a world champion, don't forget little guys like us. You gotta
Oh,
you
of
gotta come
course.
back
Yeah,
on. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, most definitely. I definitely, after the fights, I like to be back, and we can keep this conversation going.
Sounds good, my man. Good luck in your next fight in August, and keep us posted.
Right on. Appreciate you guys. Thank
All right,
you.
take care. That's Victor Guerrero. Yeah, he sounds like he's a good kid. There's a lot of these young fighters we've had on the show recently over the last couple of years have been, they've been a breath of fresh air, and Vic is no different. So good luck to him. Seven, it looks like he's going to be fighting. He fought he's fought 6 times. They're looking to fight this year, which is good. Harry's asking, has he won any major amateur titles? No, Harry, he didn't. He didn't really fight that much in the amateurs, but in any event, and yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on him. Coach was mentioning, his record, but that's why I asked him about. Truthfully, that's why I asked him about his amateur career, because I looked at his opponents and stuff, and typically when you're building a fighter, especially a fighter and Coach will probably back me on this, I hope. The truth of the matter is, when you're building a fighter with no amateur experience, you got to be careful in the pro ranks, and I think they're moving them smart, to be honest with you. Joel is saying, any interest in the return of Conor McGregor? Nah, I mean, I think he's nothing personal. I think he's a very entertaining guy. I just don't watch that sport. He didn't, Coach. I don't know. He said that he did say something about that, but I don't think he fought in any. There's no record of it. There's no record of it. So, but in any event, hey, listen, we won't be here next week, but there's a fight that's coming up that weekend after our next show. 100%, Harry. He's definitely a work in progress. Well, hey, listen, he's got the genes, right? I mean, the Ghost, Robert the Ghost Guerrero was a great fighter. There's a decent fight coming up. Diego Pacheco is taking on Emmanuel Alim in their super middleweight fight. And this is taking place on the 18th. So I won't be breaking this fight down next week because we're going to be doing our roundtable. So I wanted to break it down today. Yeah, Joyce, he may, he's awfully slow. My man Johnny Gomez, what's up, brother? I'm glad he popped in. So listen, Diego Pacheco against Emmanuel Alim. Here's the deal. Let's look at Emmanuel Alim. The computer ranks him at number 78. He's got a very impressive record: 22 wins, 4 losses, and three of his draws. 14 of his wins coming by knockout. The computer ranks him at number 7. The WBC has him at number 13. The IBO computer, which I like the best, has him at number 66. Not rated anywhere else. WBO, IBF, not even the WBA, the Ring, or ESPN. It makes me wonder why a sanctioning body, any of them, if every computerized ranking system has them, below 50, and no other sanctioning body has them ranked, but one of them comes in at a top 15. It sounds like a title shot opportunity. But in any event, he's 32 years old, 5'9", 70-inch reach. He's fought some decent opposition, but when he's faced top opposition, he's either lost or had a draw. For an example, Lester Martinez, he did go 12 rounds with him, but he lost a unanimous decision. Wilfred Harris, and Lester Martinez is a top fighter in his division. That's why I mentioned him first. Winfred Harris Jr., he fought in 2024. That ended in a technical draw after 8 rounds. Ronald Ellis, he lost a majority draw. Matavi Korobov, he had a majority draw. And Hugo Centeno Jr., he got stopped. I mean, so those are really the top names that he did okay against, but couldn't get out a win. Now, Diego Pacheco is the real deal at junior middleweight. The computer has him at number 4. The WBC has him at number 4. WBO has him at number 3. IBF has him at number 4. WBA has it number 7. Now, I don't like the sanctioning bodies, but when they all have a guy ranked in their top 10, and in most cases in their top 5, he's a decent fighter. But what makes it even more obvious is the Ring magazine has him at number 6, or the Ring ratings have him at number 6, and the ESPN has him at number 6. And the IBO's computer ranking system, which again I think is the best of all of them, they have him ranked at number 4. He's 7 years younger than Alim at 25. And check this out. He's 6'4". We were just talking to Victor Guerrero, who was 6'4" in the junior middleweight division. Well, Pacheco's 6'4" in the super middleweight division. He's going to be 8 inches taller, just about 8 inches taller than Alim, and he's going to have a 9-inch reach. But check this out. His last 8 fights, you could look at all 8 fights that he's had against top opposition, going back to 23 against Jack Cullen, Manuel Gallegos, Mauricio Cosorges, Sean McCalman, Majek Saluki, Steven Nelson, Trevor McCumbee, and Kevin Sajo. All good fighters. How good? How about you add them up, and their combined record is 194 wins, 12 losses, and 3 draws. Look, this guy is the real deal. There's no question about that. And, to say that this is going to be a tough fight or anything, didn't even have a scotch yet. It's not going to be a tough fight. Diego Pacheco is going to win this fight hands down, and in my opinion, very, very easily. But anyway, so I just want to remind you guys about next week. We are going to be doing something a little different. We're kicking off a series, the Roundtable. I'm going to tell you right now what the topic is. It's the age-old topic, which we kind of touched on earlier today based on an email that I received. But it's basically comparing yesterday's fighter with today's. And we're going to throw some twists in there because me, for one, being an old guy and being a historian and being a guy who loves the old-time fighters, and you can ask anybody that's ever talked boxing with me how I am. And I'm the same guy that has been talking how great the fighters of yesteryear. I'm going to be introducing, and all these guys that are on this panel with me for this first episode, are all hysterically, they're all hysterically funny. They're comedians. No, they're all historically sound and boxing wise. And, I'm going to throw some curves that we're all going to have a tough time answering. And I really think it's going to be worthwhile listening. And yes, it's going to be same time as this show. It's going to be instead of this show. And we'll see how it goes. And who knows, maybe we'll continue to do both. But in any event, make sure you tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, I'll leave you with this. Ciao, baby.